6 years ago, a brutal, seemingly senseless crime stunned London. Alicia Berenson, a celebrated painter, was found standing motionless in her living room. Her husband, Gabriel, bound to a chair, dead. He had been shot 5 times in the face. From that moment on, Alicia Berenson never spoke another word. Her silence turned a domestic tragedy into a national mystery. Found guilty, but mentally unfit for prison, she was sent to a secure psychiatric unit called the Grove. Her only statement was a self-portrait she painted just days after the murder. A painting she titled, simply, Alcestis. This is where Theo Faber enters. Theo is a psychotherapist, a man haunted by his own dark childhood, dominated by a violent, unpredictable father. His own pain, he believes, is what drew him to his profession. He studies psychology, as he says, to heal himself. Theo is obsessed with Alicia's case. He feels a profound, almost personal connection to her. He sees her silence not as an admission of guilt, but as a manifestation of unbearable trauma, a cry for help he feels uniquely qualified to answer. He is determined to fix her, to make her speak. Driven by this compulsion, Theo applies for a job at the Grove. He gets it. He is finally going to meet the silent patient. The Grove is a place of decay, underfunded and overshadowed by the threat of closure. Theo meets the staff, the charismatic but beleaguered director, Professor Diomedes, a sharp, antagonistic psychiatrist named Christian, and Indira, a kind, maternal therapist. And then he sees Alicia. The vibrant artist from the photos is gone. In her place is a broken shell, heavily sedated, her eyes foggy, her hands trembling, saliva glistening on her lips. She is invisible, a ghost haunting the halls. Theo is convinced the heavy medication is a prison, and he fights the staff to have it reduced. He wants to reach the real Alicia. He gets his wish. The medication is lowered, and Alicia wakes up. During one of their sessions, as Theo tries to connect with her, she suddenly, violently attacks him. She throws him to the floor, bashing his head against the wall, clawing at his face, her hands gripping his neck. It takes 4 nurses to restrain her. But Theo isn't discouraged. He's thrilled. He believes this isn't madness, it's communication. It's the first word she's spoken in 6 years. While he works to gain her trust, Theo begins to act less like a therapist and more like a detective. He is convinced that to understand the murder, he must understand Alicia's life. He starts interviewing the people from her past. He meets Max, Gabriel's brother, who describes Alicia as volatile, needy, and prone to violent rages. He also reveals a key piece of information. Alicia had a severe breakdown years earlier after her father's death. Theo visits John Felix, Alicia's art gallerist. John Felix shows him Alicia's other paintings, including one of Gabriel crucified, painted before the murder. He also explains the myth of Alcestis, a Greek queen who willingly dies in her husband's place, is rescued from the underworld, but returns to the living and remains forever silent. Theo is chilled by the parallel. Alcestis was silent because of a betrayal. What, he wonders, did Gabriel do? Finally, Theo tracks down Alicia's cousin, Paul. They meet on the roof of Alicia's childhood home, their secret hiding place. Paul reveals the devastating trauma at the root of Alicia's life. The night Alicia's mother died in a car crash, a crash Alicia survived, her grieving father, Vernon, stood in the garden below, drunk and enraged, shouting, "Why didn't Alicia die instead?" Paul tells Theo that Alicia whispered, "He killed me. Dad just killed me." This, Theo realizes, was the first death, the psychic murder of a child by her father. But as Theo obsesses over Alicia's broken marriage, his own is fracturing. His narration, which began so full of love for his wife, Kathy, darkens. He describes their passionate, whirlwind romance, how she saved him from his own darkness, but the story sours. One night, he comes home and finds Kathy's laptop open. He reads her emails. She is having an affair. Theo is consumed by a cold, familiar rage. He becomes a stalker in his own life, following Kathy, watching her meet her lover in parks and pubs. He feels the same helplessness he felt as a child, the same burning hatred for the man who is destroying his life. He fantasizes about killing him. This pain, this raw wound of betrayal, is what he carries with him into his sessions. As Theo digs into her past, we are also given a second voice, Alicia's. We read her diary from the weeks leading up to the murder. At first, the entries are filled with love for Gabriel, but a shadow appears. Alicia starts seeing a man standing across the street, watching the house, a dark figure in a mask. Her fear grows. She feels she is being followed. She tries to tell Gabriel, but he dismisses her fears. He's convinced she's having another paranoid breakdown, just like when her father died. He insists she see a psychiatrist, a Dr. West, who medicates her. Alicia feels completely alone. She knows she isn't crazy. She knows the man is real. The diary entries become more frantic, more terrified. The final entry before the murder is breathless. I can hear him. Downstairs. He's inside. He's inside the house. Armed with the knowledge of her father's trauma, Theo returns to Alicia. He sits opposite her and speaks the truth he has uncovered. Your father said he wished you had died instead of your mother. He killed you. Alicia's eyes lock onto his. The wall of silence shatters. She whispers her first word. Okay. Over the next few sessions, Alicia tells him what happened that night. She claims the masked man from her diary broke in. He tied her to a chair and waited. When Gabriel came home, the man knocked him out, tied him to a chair, and then, without a word, shot him 5 times in the face. Theo listens to her story, his face a mask of therapeutic calm, but he knows she is lying. At their next session, Alicia does something profound. She hands Theo her diary. Theo takes it back to his office. He reads the frantic entries about the stalker, the fear, the break-in. But then he finds an entry written after the police investigation, one she wrote just before he injected her with the overdose. This is Alicia's final, terrible confession. This is the truth. Theo just left, she writes. I haven't got much time. She reveals that she recognized Theo the moment he arrived at the Grove. She wasn't sure at first, but then he said the same, chilling words the stalker had used. I want to help you see clearly. Her attack on him wasn't madness, it was recognition. In this last entry, Alicia tells the real story of that night. The man, Theo, did break in. He did tie her up, but he was there for Gabriel. When Gabriel came home, Theo knocked him out and tied him to the chair, back to back with Alicia. And then Theo revealed why he was there. I'm a married man, Theo said to Gabriel, and I know what it's like to be let down. The man Gabriel had been sleeping with, the bad boy 22 from the emails, wasn't a man. It was Kathy, Theo's wife. Gabriel was Kathy's lover. Theo, in his rage, had tracked Gabriel down, and now he offered him a choice, the same choice in a way that Alicia's father had offered. Who lives and who dies? Either you die, Theo said, or Alicia does. You decide. Alicia, tied to the chair, pleaded with her husband. I love you, Gabriel. Say you love me. And Gabriel, the man she adored, spoke his last words, a small, terrified, childish voice. I don't want to die. That was the moment Gabriel sentenced his wife to death. It was the second time a man she loved had killed her. Theo looked at Alicia. Now you know the truth, he said. You're better off dead. He pointed the gun at her head. But he didn't shoot her. He fired a shot into the ceiling, dropped the gun on the floor, and walked out. Alicia was left alone in the dark, tied to a chair, listening to her husband sobbing. She remained silent. The dead don't talk, she wrote. She slowly untied herself. She picked up the hot, heavy gun. She walked around the chair and faced her husband, the man who had betrayed her. I didn't kill Gabriel, her final entry reads. He killed me. All I did was pull the trigger. Alicia knew Theo had returned to the Grove to silence her, to gloat. She gave him the diary to let him know she knew. She knew he would have to kill her. Her final words are, He grabbed my wrist and stuck a needle in my vein. I didn't struggle. I deserve this punishment. I am guilty. But so is he. Theo, having orchestrated this entire tragedy, believes he has won. Alicia is in a coma, silenced forever. He has successfully framed his colleague, Christian, for the overdose. Diomedes has resigned in disgrace. And Theo has just been offered the job of clinical director of the new unit. He goes home to Kathy. Their marriage is a silent, hollow thing. He has kept her, but he has lost her. He's in his kitchen, pouring a drink when the doorbell rings. It's Chief Inspector Allen. They've been clearing out Alicia's room, and hidden in the back of her final painting, the one of Theo carrying her from a burning building. They found it. The inspector holds up the small, black leather notebook. Alicia's diary. He opens it to the last page and begins to read Alicia's final testimony aloud. Theo just left. I am alone. Theo stands by the window, watching the snow begin to fall. He is perfectly calm. He is trapped. He is, at last, seen clearly.